this is Allie, and I'm going to be talking about my first Bikram yoga experience. I've been going to yoga a lot recently. I've been doing it for about 2 months, and that's just regular yoga. I always chickened out. Like, I've always been wanted to go to hot yoga or Bikram yoga, but I've just always chickened out. I've always almost signed up for the class and then chickened out because I've heard of all the people getting sick from it and like fainting in class or feeling nauseous or anything like that, and that is just torturous. I don't normally handle heat very well, so I was kind of surprised. Sorry. And so I decided I'd finally go. I asked a couple of my friends if they wanted to go, and one of my friends said yes, so I wasn't able to chicken out this time. And so I signed up the instant she said yes. And this was last week when this happened. It was an intro to hot yoga class, or Bikram yoga. My yoga studio calls it hot yoga, but that's what I'm talking about. And so we decided to go. I was really nervous. I ended up wearing too many clothes. I was wearing shorts and a really thick muscle shirt. It's supposed to be like one of those muscle shirts that wicks off moisture, but it gets really hot and gross really fast. And just a normal sports bra. And then when I got there was 22 people in a class. It was full, like literally during like the flying airplane thing. When your arms are stretched all the way out, your hands were on top of a person next to you. And so it's the busiest class you said you've ever had. My yoga instructor's name is Anthony, and he is possibly the most interesting looking guy you'll find. Like, seriously, he is tattooed from head to toe, and all his tattoos range from like religious type things to dragons to like a Chinese symbol on the back of his neck. He has his nipples pierced. He has piercings in the back of his neck. He is definitely one of the most interesting guys in the world. He has a rat tail too that kind of like curls around his head. It's like right there, and it's really weird. And it's really long. It goes all the way around his shoulder. And then also he is ripped. Like, I am not joking. He is ripped. So it's really weird because you can't tell if he's attractive or not. Because I'm not really into the whole tattooed rat tail type of guy, but he is fine in the way of like body. And it was the first class I ever had with him because he's the only hot yoga teacher at my studio. And there's a bunch of other women who do the other classes. And then so me and my friend, we ended up laying in the room for 10 minutes, so we waited for everyone to get settled. And the heat didn't really affect me that much at first. It just felt good in there because I live in Minnesota and it's like 20. It was like 20 degrees that week. Now this week it's like 70. So yeah, we have bipolar weather. So we got in the room. We sat in there for a little while. The class started, and I surprisingly did really well. I brought too much water, amazingly, and then I ended up having to take off my muscle shirt, and it's the first time I've ever done that. Like, I've never just decided, okay, let's go in the sports bra. And so I ended up just going in. I ended up just wearing my they're kind of like running shorts. You get them if you're like on track or something. I needed them for the tennis team like a year ago, and so I just wear those and a sports bra for most of the time. And I was really surprised because the heat started getting to me, so I had to take something off. And then I wasn't the only girl in there like that. About half the women in there were in sports bras, the other half didn't. And yeah, I loved it the first time. Like, I felt amazing afterwards. And then I ended up going on Wednesday. And so I first went to it on Sunday, and then I went on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, I went with two of my other friends that I ended up convincing because I ended up loving it. They didn't want to go on the first time that I went. And they've gone to yoga classes with me before. I'm only one of my friends who does yoga on a regular basis. But for some reason, like we were all in there. The class wasn't as busy as before. Like you weren't like stacked on top of people the whole entire time, but it was normal. And there's about like 18 of us, so the rooms that my yoga studio are in are really small. And then for some reason, I didn't make it through the whole entire class. Like the first time I went, I didn't have to sit down. I didn't feel nauseous. I felt fine. But then during the second yoga class, while we were doing the standing, the triangle pose, for some reason I started feeling really nauseous. It didn't feel very good. And then later on, he's like, Anthony, the instructor, he's just like, oh, I think I'm gonna change it up this time. And I'm just like, okay. And so we ended up doing like the standing splits and a bunch of stuff like that. And I don't like the whole like your head down to the ground things. It doesn't work very well with me. And then we did a bunch of back bends too, which my back's pretty flexible. Just for some reason those get to me when I'm in the hot room. And so I started feeling so nauseous halfway through, and I had to sit down. And I felt really bad because I was with two people who never sat down. And then also he left out a couple of my favorite poses that we did before, like the standing arrow and the one where your legs are like 90 degrees. Because I can do that, and I'm so surprised I can actually do that. But he skipped those poses, and it just didn't work. And then I survived the rest of class. Once we got down on the floor, I was able to make it through, other than the camel pose that just didn't work out very well for me either because my head was down to the ground. But all the other poses worked out, like once we got to the ground, and it was a very big sigh of relief when I finally laid down. Then for some odd reason, I keep going back, and I went again yesterday. And yesterday was Sunday, so I only went twice last week. I'm going to try to go all 3 times this week, like you're supposed to for hot yoga. He only teaches it 3 times a week too, so I can't go more than that. And then yesterday, I made it through most of the class. I did start feeling nauseous through the triangle pose again, but I think it was just because I didn't drink enough water. I drank hardly any water yesterday, and I have a water bottle that's half a liter, and I tried, the first class I went to, I drank 5 of those throughout the day. And then the second time, I drank about like 6. And then this time, I only drank like 2. And so I made it through the class. I only felt nauseous once. And so I was pretty proud of myself. I'm going again on Wednesday. And today is Monday. And I have fencing tonight. And I think my body is not agreeing with me, like with all the sweating. Like I've been really tired lately. And I haven't been eating much either, which is kind of weird. Like my appetite has gone down. But I'm healthy. Like I'm not pregnant or sick or anything like that. And so I think all the sweating I've been doing, I haven't been drinking enough liquids. And so I'm going to be trying to increase that in my diet, and maybe I'll start gaining more energy. I have read online after like 4 weeks of doing it 3 times, your energy level starts to stable out. And last week I was tired the whole entire time. Like that whole entire week I was like dead. So far, my class was yesterday, and I'm doing just fine. I have the same amount of energy as I normally do. I'll have to see how I'm going to do at fencing tonight. Last week, fencing was miserable. I got so beat up. My whole entire leg looks like someone attacked me with a pen. And so, I still love it. Like, they say that Bikram yoga is basically like the most addicting yoga in the world, and I'm in love with it for some odd reason. I just like the challenge, and I like sweating. Like I don't know why, but I absolutely love sweating. And so leave it in the comments below what your guys' first yoga experience has gone to, any suggestions for me why I'm feeling nauseous in some different poses, how much water I should be drinking before it, and all that type of stuff, what I should wear to hot yoga, because I haven't really figured that out completely yet, and all that type of stuff. Leave it in the comments below, and I'll try to reply. Bye, you guys!